Now we move on to NATO. Speaking at the NATO Summit, US President Donald Trump has warned that a new conflict between Israel and Iran could erupt perhaps soon, despite both sides being tired and ready to step back. He also reaffirmed calls for NATO members to shoulder more defense responsibility and boost military spending. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, speaking on the sidelines of the NATO Summit, said the alliance deterrence capabilities have just gone up substantially and called it a crucial step. He confirmed that Canada's review of its F-35 fighter jet purchase plan will be completed by the end of summer, and that discussions with European partners on fighter jets and submarines are underway. Carney also said that Canada will look to make adjustments to its defense procurement rules, including buying more quickly and favoring domestic production. He added that Canada would have preferred a special NATO session dedicated to Ukraine. Meanwhile, Germany's Friedrich Merz announced that the Coalition of the Willing, a group of NATO nations ready to deepen support for Ukraine, will hold a coordination video call in the coming days. He said he met US President Donald Trump on the sidelines and urged tougher sanctions on Russia, while thanking Turkish President Erdogan for his mediating role. Merz reaffirmed that Trump had made very clear his support for NATO's core defense pledge under Article 5. This comes as Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez said his country would meet the defense spending target with 2.1% of GDP. Though he described that level as sufficient, realistic, and compatible with the welfare state. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte spoke highly about Trump's role in pushing NATO forward, saying he deserves all the praise. He declared that Putin's goal to divide the West has failed, pointing to Sweden and Finland joining NATO and the 5% defense plan as signs of growing unity. On the other hand, in a crucial sideline meeting, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has met with US President Donald Trump, according to Ukrainian spokesman. Now we have guests joining us for this discussion. Peter Cordillo is a chief market economist at Spartan Capital Securities, live from New York. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. President Trump has said that a new Israel-Iran war could erupt perhaps soon. Is this a genuine intelligence-based warning or political messaging, according to you?
Well, I think it's a political message, there's no question about it, but I also think that if you look at the markets, especially the oil market, you'll see that even if they do begin some sort of new attacks on each other, that the United States is not likely to get fully involved. And you know, an intelligence report suggested that the operation, the American operation, was not all that successful as the administration portrayed. And so I think you know, the big question to this war is what happens with oil prices, and the fact that they've come down from their recent rally due to speculators and not to any real change in fundamentals suggests that even if there is more scrimmage between Israel and Iran, I don't think the U.S. is going to get fully involved. In fact, you know, just yesterday, Trump scolded Iran and Israel, and he made that a very specific point. And so I think Trump is sending us a political message that if other problems arise, that the United States is not likely to get fully involved.
And that brings us to another key comment by Trump. Trump reaffirmed support for Article 5 and has his tone at this NATO summit reassured allies, or are doubts about U.S. commitment still lingering beneath the surface, according to you?
Can you repeat that? I didn't quite hear.
So Trump has shown support for Article number 5 And do you think his tone has shifted towards NATO after this summit?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think, that's good news. You're referring to the NATO allied members that have agreed to spend up to 5% of their GDP. This is something that Trump wanted even in his first administration and didn't quite achieve to get what he wanted. But I suspect that this time around he might. And so that's a victory, you might say, for Trump at this time. Now, of course, we just have to wait and see if they fulfill if their promises come to fruition. But that's good news, and I think that you know the financial markets are likely to take that as a positive sign.
And now looking at Spain, Spain insisted that 2.1% defense spending is realistic and compatible with the welfare state. Is NATO unity at risk if countries set their own terms, also given that about Ukraine, some countries have shown support openly and some countries haven't?
Yes. Well, I think, bottom line here is that the original hard stand taken by Trump against Zelensky has changed. And I think that was due to the fact that they did sign some sort of a rare earth minerals agreement. So I kind of think that Trump is likely to force the issues with our allies, but by the same time, if one or two are not in full accordance, I think that that's not going to change the fact that Europe, the EU in general, will continue to support Zelensky.
And now staying in North America, Canada's Prime Minister Carney said NATO should have held a special session on Ukraine. Is there a growing feeling that Kyiv is being sidelined diplomatically, according to you?
Well, I kind of think that that's probably the case. Canada's Prime Minister seems to pry on that, and so I think yes, it's a diplomatic effort that probably will continue.
And Peter, what is your reaction, and how is media covering over there with NATO leaders praising Trump and fast-tracking defense commitments? How has the media narrative around this summit have been in U.S.?
I think it's been, pretty much fair. It's been very vocal on some of the positive marks and negative on some of the negative marks. So I think it's fair to say that pretty good.
And Peter, according to you, how has NATO's core purpose been reframed at this summit from collective defense to a more transactional alliance influenced by Trump or U.S. power politics?
Yes, I think so. And again, any accordance without any major arguments flaring up amongst the allies, I think, is a positive sign. It's a positive. It's a unity sign, and that's positive, and that certainly was lacking in the in Trump's first term.
And how do you interpret the phrase that was used towards Ukraine, coalition of the willing for Ukraine? Is this a sign that NATO is informally splitting into tiers of commitment?
I'm not really sure how to answer that, but I would say that it looks as though that could emerge, and of course, again, it would be viewed as a positive.
Thank you very much, Peter Cordillo, for joining us today and sharing your expertise on this situation. Now we move on to our next story. Israel and Gaza. Gaza's Ministry of